Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Feinberg, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to visit beforehand in my office. I enjoyed that discussion. I want to also thank your family for their service to our country, and also thank you for taking the time to leave the private sector and to come in and to offer your expertise. The time that you spent at Cerberus Capital and the fact that you have looked at a number of different defense-related businesses in the past really does help with regard to how we make changes at the Pentagon level. I want to start just by clarifying one thing. When we talk about an 8% cut, we're talking about prioritizing which is the bottom 8% that they think or that they want leaders within the Pentagon to identify as perhaps being reapportionable to other more important portions. Is that your understanding as well, sir?
It is.
Thank you. I want to, your background has also given you some insight, even before getting classified briefings, with regard to spectrum. And I want to spend some time on that once again. I think this is one of the most important issues that faces the Department of Defense right now, and that is spectrum sharing, which you're familiar with because actually one of the companies which you had invested in actually looked at spectrum sharing and the need for that. And that's the reason why I want to go through this a little bit. Senator Fisher did an excellent job of laying out the real serious threat to our national security should we lose the ability to use radar, which is located in the 3.1 to 3.45 gigahertz part of the spectrum. I don't want to get real deep technically, but basically that's the most advanced radars we have. You indicated hypersonics was an important part of the discussion right now. Those weapon systems, you're aware that we detect them using this portion of the spectrum. Are you familiar with that, sir?
Yes, Senator.
So if the Department of Defense was forced to either give it up or because of interference have a less likely chance of identifying that, it would make those systems less reliable. Would you agree with that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Right now in Hawaii, it is defended by destroyers that carry this portion of it that provides the radar defenses. The Secretary of the Navy, or the Navy, has indicated in multiple testimonies before this committee that there is a cost should they have to either make significant changes or lose that part of the spectrum or replace it elsewhere at $250 billion for the Navy alone to replace it over a period of perhaps 20 years. Are you familiar with that, sir?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Right now, we need to find a solution that allows for further development of spectrum by our commercial sectors, but at the same time, we can't lose or force the Department of Defense to give this portion up, or our nation is at risk. Would you agree with that, sir?
I do agree.
Today, if we look at the President's new idea, and I fully support him in this, President Trump has issued what I believe is a game-changing executive order directing the Department of Defense to develop and build an Iron Dome missile defense shield for America. I think some people call it the Golden Dome. This dome for America would not be possible if the Department of Defense has to vacate some or all of the lower 3 band and other crucial portions of the spectrum. In fact, as Senator Fisher noted last week, Iron Dome for America will need even more radars than we currently have, and those systems cannot function properly if there is too much noise, which includes development of 5G by the commercial sectors, that noise on the spectrum where they are operating. If confirmed, will you protect the Department of Defense's spectrum so that President's Iron Dome for America can be built and function optimally?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Look, your background, you're a finance guy. You invested in a company that looks at spectrum sharing. Can you share a little bit of the expertise that you picked up with regard to spectrum sharing and the availability of it, if we are allowed the time to actually get it developed and prove it to be functional?
About 30 seconds worth of that, sir.
Okay, there's two ways. One is managed spectrum share, which we have to improve significantly to ensure it can be done safely and still protect our country. But I think we can do that over time. It has to be tested. The other is simultaneous share. And And that is what DOD really would love. And that is early in its stage. It has to be tested, but does provide great promise. And in terms of solving this problem, we got to really test it, make sure it works.
But it is a path forward, but it has to be tested.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Rounds.